In a move about as subtle as a neon billboard in Times Square, Trae Young took to social media with the cryptic message. 7 years down, last time I won't be in the postseason.
Trae recaptures the dribble. Where to shoot? Banks it in!
Atlanta Hawks fans immediately went into full detective mode, analyzing this tweet like it was the NBA's version of the Da Vinci Code. With just one line, Young managed to send the entire city of Atlanta into collective therapy sessions as fans contemplated whether their franchise star, whose hair has thinned faster than their playoff hopes, might be packing his bags for greener, more championship-scented pastures. Young's frustrations with the Hawks have been simmering for some time. Despite a memorable run to the Eastern Conference Finals just a few seasons ago, Atlanta has failed to capitalize on that momentum. Instead of building a consistent contender, the team has stumbled, facing first-round playoff exits and now a failure to even reach the postseason. During Young's tenure, the Hawks have cycled through 3 rebuilds, an exhausting experience for any star player intent on winning. The turmoil extends beyond the court, too. Hawks ownership has been criticized for meddling in basketball decisions. Notably, owner Tony Wrestler's son, Nick, was reportedly the one who pushed for the ill-fated DeJounte Murray trade against the advice of the basketball operations staff. Although recently fired GM Landry Fields made smart moves to salvage past mistakes and drafted promising young talent, the organization's dysfunction has clearly taken its toll. The Hawks' decision to fire Fields just days after their play-in loss has only deepened the uncertainty. Fields was seen as a stabilizing figure, trying to navigate a rocky roster situation. Yet ownership's impatience suggests a lack of cohesive vision. For a player like Young, who is laser-focused on winning, the Hawks' internal instability and apparent shift towards another rebuild are major red flags. Adding another layer of complexity, Young is eligible for a mammoth contract extension. 4 years at $229 million or 5 years at $345 million if he makes an All-NBA team. However, the Hawks' reputation for being reluctant spenders casts doubt on whether they would commit that level of money to Trae. If the Hawks believe Young's heart is no longer in Atlanta, they face a tough decision. Trade him now to avoid losing him for nothing, or gamble on keeping him and hope for a dramatic turnaround. Given the team's apparent shift towards rebuilding, trading Young could become the more attractive, albeit painful, option. Young's desire to win immediately is fundamentally misaligned with the Hawks' likely direction. While he has not publicly demanded a trade, his cryptic messaging and the franchise's recent moves hint that a breakup may be inevitable. Atlanta appears focused on building for the future, while Young's prime years demand a win-now mentality. On the court, Young remains an electrifying offensive force. He led the NBA in assists with 11.6 per game this season, showcasing his elite playmaking ability. However, he also led the league in turnovers and recorded a career-low efficiency near the rim. Defensively, Young is a liability. The Hawks' defensive rating was the worst in the league when he was on the floor. His size and defensive shortcomings mean he needs to be surrounded by elite 3 and D players, a strong rim protector, and another high-level scorer to optimize his impact. Building such a roster is expensive and challenging, making teams cautious about acquiring him. Finding the right fit for Young is complicated. Rebuilding teams like the Spurs, Magic, and Rockets are unlikely to pursue him given their timelines and priorities. The Sacramento Kings have been mentioned as a possible destination where Young could pair with Domantas Sabonis and possibly Zach LaVine to form a potent offensive trio. Still, even winning teams are hesitant. Young's defensive issues and ball-dominant style raise questions about whether he can blend into an established contender without disrupting team chemistry. His next destination would need to be carefully selected to maximize his strengths while minimizing his weaknesses. While Young is undoubtedly talented, ESPN has reported limited genuine market demand for him. Many teams are wary of investing heavily in a player who, despite his offensive brilliance, poses serious defensive and efficiency concerns. Thus, while Young might be ready to leave Atlanta, his options could be more limited than expected. Teams in search of a star to energize their fan base might bite, but title contenders will be much more cautious. The writing isn't just on the wall for Trae Young and the Hawks. It's spray painted in neon with blinking lights and a soundtrack. What began as Atlanta's basketball fairy tale has devolved into the sports equivalent of sleeping on your friend's couch after a messy breakup. Young's championship hunger and the Hawks' rebuild timeline have drifted apart like two ships passing in the night if one ship was actually a luxury yacht with playoff ambitions and the other was desperately trying to stay afloat in salary cap hell. Where Young lands next is anyone's guess. Perhaps somewhere his three-point percentage gets more attention than his defensive liabilities. But for Atlanta, this isn't just another trade decision. It's an existential crisis wrapped in a jersey swap. The Hawks now face the basketball version of the trolley problem. Either trade their franchise star and reset the clock on relevance, or cling to a deteriorating relationship like that high school couple still making it work 15 years after prom. Whatever they decide in these crucial months will either be remembered as the painful but necessary surgery that saved the patient, or the beginning of Atlanta's long basketball winter.